Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Nakia, and it is that time, the infamous time of the month. Not that time, but anyway, we are here to talk about the books I read in May. Did I have some DNFs? Probably, but let's talk about it right after the intro. So, yes, we are here again. We're wrapping up the month of May. Let me just say off the bat, it was not the best reading month. It was just, I had a really good book, a pretty good book, and then two books that just, no. So, let's just dive into it, shall we? So, first on the list, I guess I'll start with this one. We have the famous I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid. This book is about a couple that go on a road trip. I believe they're going to go visit the young man in the story, his parents' house, and it's like some house in the country or whatever. So basically this book takes place in the car on their road trip. And we're through the perspective of the girlfriend, whose name I don't know. I don't think we ever learn her name. And yeah, we'll go from there. This didn't do it for me. I'm so sorry because I know this book is very polarizing. You either love it or you hate it, and I hated it. I'm sorry to say. I DNF'd this book. Let me consult my notes. All right, so I DNF'd this book at page 77. Basically, we are in the head of the girlfriend, and to me, it was just her rambling on and on and on and on and on. Going back to like when she first met the boyfriend, Jake, and her feelings about thinking of ending things. And then we'd come back in the car for a minute and it'd be them chit-chatting a little bit and then just having these weird conversations. And then we go back in her mind and her going back to some stories and things that had happened in the past that I didn't know why we were learning these things. Yeah, and it was just too much of her just rambling on and on. I'm sorry, for me, there was no tension, there was no suspense, there was no creepiness. I felt nothing but annoyed. I just wanted her to stop talking. And I was like, when are we getting to the scary parts? When are we getting to the creepy parts? Because people have said this is like one of the most scary books or unnerving books or whatever. It did nothing for me. And I actually know the ending because I was talking to my daughter about it and I was like, I just am not feeling this book. And I was like, I think I know where it's going. And then she was like, well, what do you think? And I told her. And then she was like, I'm going to go look it up. So when she looked up the ending, she was like, well, you were partially right. Do you want to know what it is? And I was like, you might as well tell me because I'm pretty much over it. So when she told me, I was really like, yeah, we're not reading any more of this book. That didn't matter. I was already over it. But even when I found out the ending, that just made it worse for me. So I actually went to the end and read like the last, like skimmed some parts in the last chapter. And I was just like, no. So unfortunately, this was a DNF for me. I'm sorry, all the fans and you lovers of this book. You know, I know who some of you are. But yeah, it's just no. So moving on. Next up, we have one that I feel so bad about. If you watched my May TBR video, you know that I received my first ARC advanced reader copy for a book titled Hush Little Baby by R.H. Heron or Heron. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. You can watch my May TBR video to find out about how that happened. It's on my Kindle, so I don't have a physical copy. I was given a choice, and as I've said before in here, I'm somewhat minimalist, so I do not keep a lot of physical books, so I asked for the e-copy. This is on me because it's nothing against the author. I just know I don't like domestic thrillers. I really don't like thrillers that have to do with boyfriend, girlfriend, 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 boyfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, 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 husband, husband. I don't care. When it's to do with relationships and one is keeping secrets or got somebody on the side, I just don't care. Those are not my kind of thrillers. I generally don't read those. I also don't really care for domestic thrillers that have to do with like mom-child. It's usually mom-child. I'm sure there are the ones father-child, but it's usually mom-child. Those don't do it for me either. I am a mother. But as I said in my May TBR video, I am just not the typical, I don't connect with the typical mom trope. You know, like the soccer mom and her life, her world is her kids. My world is my daughter, but I also have other things. And I just never been the type to like buddy up with other moms and stuff like that. So yeah, I knew ahead of time this was not my thing. But what intrigued me was the description of the book that made it seem like it had like a Gaslight type of feel to it, the movie Gaslight. So basically the story is about this woman. What's her name? I don't remember, and I don't feel like combing through my Kindle. If I find it when I'm editing this, I'll pop it here on the screen, but the name's not important. It's about this woman who's a OBGYN. She's also pregnant with her wife's, well, ex-girlfriend's child. And we found out in the very beginning of the story that the ex-girlfriend cheats on her, so they're not together anymore. This is not a spoiler because it's in the synopsis. And she's carrying the baby. And then she's also part of this mommy group. Forgot the name of it too because it annoyed me, the name of the mommy group. But the name of the mom group, I just remembered where I was just talking to my daughter. Anyway, it was called the Ripleys because they had a connection with the mom in the movie Aliens or whatever. Anyway, and they were all former, or they all are AA members, recovering addicts. And so that's their connection. So the synopsis basically said that she starts having strange things happen in her home. Things are moved and go missing and all this kind of stuff. And she doesn't know if it's the former girlfriend messing around with her so she could try to get full custody of the baby, or if it's somebody from her mom group because, you know, of course, things happen with them and secrets and all that kind of stuff. So I decided to read this because I was hoping it would be more of the gaslight aspect of the story, more of the creepiness and things moving and all that. No, it was way more of the mom aspect of the story, mother-to-be aspect of the story. I would put this more as like a contemporary fiction with some teeny bit of mystery in it. I stopped reading at page, oh, I'm sorry. Because mine is an e-copy, I didn't have page numbers. It only told me like the location of the book or the percentage. So I stopped reading at 25%. I'm not sure what page that is because like I said, my e-copy did not say the page number, but I got a good amount in. I mean, I usually give a book till about 35%, 25, 30%. I will read you some of the notes that I wrote down because I was looking at these before I started filming and I was like, yeah, it's about sums it up. I said, no atmosphere, no suspense, not my kind of thriller, hard to care when I can't relate. The types of women in this book, rich, upper class, are the type of women I avoid. Didn't like any of the characters, including the main character, and I didn't care what happened to the main character. So all those things are not good. Again, if you like domestic thrillers, you know, like I said, all the things I mentioned, you probably will enjoy it. It has a high rating on Goodreads. It's just not my kind of thriller. And like I said, I really felt bad because, you know, I was supposed to read this in advance and give my review. But yeah, I just could not get through it. I was just annoyed all the way through. There was just like snippets here and there that I enjoyed. There was one little part where the mom group was talking and there was some secrets. They were supposed to all be telling big secrets. And that part got me intrigued. But then some of the secrets, I was just like, that's it. And then we went back to the mom-to-be stuff with her being pregnant and going to the doctor and her dealing with the ex-girlfriend. All this crap I don't care about. And that way, you know, I hate to say the wrong thing these days, but I guess I'm more hard and more testosterone-ish. But yeah, all that motherhood, goddess, femininity mess, just no, sorry, no. So like I said, I feel bad I did not finish that book. And I do not, as I've said before, I do not just DNF lightly. I actually really try to get through books before I DNF them. And I just get to a point where I'm like, I'm struggling too much. And I'm reading for fun, not to reach a certain number or whatever. So if I'm not having fun, I have to put it down. Because I have so many books I've read that I did have fun with from the beginning. So I know the feeling. And it's just like, I like that feeling. And if I don't get that, it's just not working for me. And I've said this before, I'm coming off of a long hiatus, reading slump, whatever you want to call it, where I didn't read for a long time. So I have to keep this train going. If I don't DNF, I'm going to probably get stuck on a book and I will put it down and never want to read again. And we don't want that to happen. So there you have it. I'm sorry. 2 DNFs. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Anyway, moving on to the good books. All right. So we're going in order. I saved the best for last. Next up, we have one of my most anticipated books on my TBR list. Not a new release, but just one of the books that I have really wanted to read last year. I kept hearing so much about because it's a closed circle mystery and I like those. And so I was like, I'm going to read it. I don't care if it's not the time of year for it. I'm going to read it. So far, I don't think I'm a mood reader as far as like atmosphere. I don't need to read a winter book in the winter or Halloween book at Halloween so far. So that book would be One by One by Ruth Ware. And this book is about this app that is created called the Snoop app. It's basically like a Spotify app, except you can see what everyone is listening to in real time. So it's a social media app. You can follow people. I didn't get it. I wouldn't care. I don't really care about music apps. I use one, but it's just because it's basically like my way to listen to music on the go. I don't really care what other people are listening to and playlists. Anyway, so it's supposed to be fun because you can spy on certain people and then like celebrities are on there. You can keep yours private or make it public. And for those who make it public, like I said, it's supposed to be fun because you can see like, oh, I'm listening to what they're listening to, or my mood is the same as theirs, whatever. Like I said, that wasn't the strongest plot point for me. So that kind of lost a little bit of points for me because like I said, I was just kind of like, okay, I guess. But anyway, so we have like 7 people who work at the company. 2 people that created the company, and then we have like the guy who writes the code. We have like the accountant person, the monies person, the person who handles social media. And then they're all going on this ski trip for, I don't remember if it was a weekend or whatever, but not long. And so we have 2 perspectives in this book. We have a woman named Erin who works at the ski chalet that they're going to vacation at. And then we have another woman named, I always remember names. I don't know why I doubt myself. Anyway, another woman named Liz, who is the extra guest that we don't know about. Because in the very beginning of the book, and I actually had to keep referencing this as I was reading, they give you a breakdown of each person that works at the company and like a little blurb about them. I think this is supposed to be for Erin, and then she has a chef at the chalet named Danny. I think it's like their cheat sheet, but it's also ours. And Liz is not on that list. So we find out why. That's one of the secrets. But Liz used to work at the company. That's all I'm going to say. So we get to the ski chalet. And like I said, I appreciated that it was only 2 perspectives because I thought we were going to be going back and forth between all these 7 people. And I was like, I've said this before, but if you are new here, when it gets to multiple perspectives, sometimes it could be a bit much for me. And if we're switching between timelines, like time periods, that's really too much. So, like I said, we only had 2 perspectives. And at first it was like, okay, cool, we're going in between. But later on, those 2 perspectives become so important and so good. But anyway, I jump ahead. So I was into it from the beginning. Once they got to the ski chalet, before that, when it was like the setup where it was like Erin was at the hotel, the chalet, like getting things set up, and then Liz was on the bus or wherever they were. They had to take like plane, train, automobile to get to the ski chalet. So once they got there, that's when it got better. It was like, everybody getting settled in, and you start to learn there's like, because Erin is like, well, who's this extra person that we don't know about? And then it's like, oh, why was she left out? And then we start finding out their secrets, and yes. So I actually correctly predicted the twist. This was probably my first time. I will say it was partially because I looked up the trigger warnings for this book ahead of time. Don't do that. And that kind of spoiled it for me or helped me to guess what who the murderer would be. But I will say that I'd started to get bored with it after we got past the initial setup and everybody was at the ski chalet. Then it got to more of the business side of the company, and we found out that there's like some money issues and drama, and I didn't really care about that. I don't care about business stuff. So that was a lot of their drama, them talking about buyouts and stuff that I did not care about. And that just went on a little too long for me. Then they actually went skiing, and that part got like, it was like a whole chapter of descriptions of skiing. I feel like the author did her research, which I actually read a little bit of the ending. She did do some research and she went skiing, and I just felt like she just really wanted to put that in the book. And it was just too much for me because I don't care about skiing. I've been once. I mean, it's fun, but I don't need a whole chapter of descriptions of terms and stuff that I just was like, okay, I want to get back to the chalet and the drama. So at that point, I was kind of like, okay, I'm getting a little bored, but I'm going to keep reading. And then it took to about 38%, but we had the first murder, and I was happy. And from that point on, it was good. And like I said, then there became a point where, like I said, the two perspectives were just perfect. And the tension, and I was just flipping pages. I was like, oh my God, I gotta know. Flipping pages. Oh my goodness, it's so good. And it was like a lot of action at the end. Then it got to another part with more skiing. And I was just like, okay. I was kind of skimming that part, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't need all these descriptions of skiing and terms and how you turn and hills and whatever. If you ski, you know. And I actually liked the ending as well. It was wrapped up in a nice little bow. So I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I rounded it up to 4. I took off, of course, because like I said, I just felt like the descriptive skiing stuff was a bit much. And as I said, the Snoop app was just okay for me, and all the business side of that, like the buyout and everything, that was just, wah, wah. So if it wasn't for those things, it would have been higher. But I definitely suggest this. Definitely suggest it for winter, especially if you're a mood reader where you like to read, seasonal books during those seasons. I recommend it. So let's move on. And last but not least, I will not go too far into detail on this book because it is Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. I also have this on my Kindle. I purchased it. But I did a live discussion with Steve from Steve Talks About Books and Stuff, and I will put a link to it here. It is also in my playlist on my channel, my book reviews playlist. So you can go check it out there as well. It is a little bit spoilery. Like I think in the beginning we don't do spoilers, but maybe not. I don't remember, but it is filled with spoilers. But we got to talk to the author, Chad Nicholas, and he is wonderful. He's so sweet. As I said, I won't go too into it because I did a lot of talking about it that day, but basically it is about a man named Scott who has some secrets from his past that basically seem like they're coming to haunt him. He's suffering from these nightmares. His wife knows about them and he tries to stay awake. And so he's somewhat of an unreliable narrator because you don't know if he's dreaming, if he's awake, it's just a lot of ifs. Like this book, as soon as I started, Steve said this when we spoke briefly because he read it a little bit ahead of me, and he was like, "Oh, I just can't put it down. It's a page turn." I was like, "Okay, sure, Steve." And then I read it, and it was like he wasn't lying. I just couldn't put it down. I just kept flipping pages because it's one of those things where you're like, "What is going on?" In a good way. I don't know what's going on, but I'm intrigued. Unlike I'm thinking of ending things, at least for me. This one just kept me flipping pages because I was just like, what is going on with this story? And Scott does have his family. He has his wife and like 3-4 kids. I can't remember because it was hard for me to keep up with them kids. So there's the family dynamic. We also find him going to a therapist. I love a therapist in a story. So there's that part as well. We have some flashbacks where we find out some of his secrets that, are coming into play in the story. It's hard to say anything about this book because you don't want to give anything away. I can't say much. You just need to read it. This is now one of my favorite horror books. It's up there with 12 Nights at Rotterhouse. It is a psychological horror, which I love. Very atmospheric. If you have a thing with birds and crows, it will be extra scary for you. I do not, so those parts weren't scary for me, but it was definitely some imagery that I loved. I had so many highlights as I was going through my Kindle. And when I finished it, when it got to the twist, I was like, wait, huh? And so I actually had to go back and reread the paragraph that told the reveal of the story. And I was like, okay, I think I reread it like 2-3 times. And then I was like, oh my goodness. I had predictions all wrong. And then there were a couple things that I still had questions about at the end that I wrote down, but I definitely liked the ending. And then after I read it, I was like, I think I put it at like 3.5. I don't know if I'm round down or round up because I was like, the ending was good, but I don't know that it was necessarily what I wanted. But then I just kept thinking about the story days later. I kept thinking about Scott and, other aspects of the story, other people involved in the story. And that's when I was like, okay, my rating's going up because clearly it was well written enough that I can't stop thinking about it. And then when I got to speak with Chad Nicholas and ask him questions, it was just like, okay, this book was almost perfect. My only thing was that there was a chapter, at least I remember it was just one chapter. It was like in the very beginning when Scott is having a day with his family and they're sitting down, having breakfast or whatever, getting ready to send the kids off to school. And it was just a little bit overly descriptive for me, which I know sometimes that's something that new authors do, because I've seen this with other ones. Like when I read No Bad Deed, I said the same thing. It was just some parts I had to skim because I was like, okay, you're going on and on and on. Chad Nicholas, I didn't skim, but I was just kind of like, I thought like everything in there was going to be important. So I was really trying to pay attention. Yeah, I would say that's my only thing. I also told him there was a chapter where, because we're always from Scott's POV, and then we do switch to another character's POV, which I will not say because I don't want to spoil anything. But there is a chapter where something is referred to as it. And it's the whole time, it, this, it, that. And that was starting to be, it was getting under my skin because I wanted to know what it was. What is it? You do find out what it is. But when I was reading it, I was just like, okay, what is this it? Why do we keep saying it? I need to know. But like I said, when I got to the end and I understood everything and I thought about it days later, I was like, this book was so good. 4 out of 5 stars for me. For this to be Chad Nicholas's first book, he already knows. I've already told him. He told us in the live discussion that he has like 2 more books in the works, 2 or 3. And Steve and I already said we are here to read the next one. We are here to do another discussion. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. And so, yes, that was the best book I read in the month of May. If it was not for Nightmare and One by One, this month would have just been, oh. I also have started to read Broken Rock by Deep Aria. I heard about this from Nikki from Dark Between Pages. She also really gave a good review for Nightmare, which made me want to read it. I think I heard about Nightmare from her and someone else, and I can't remember who the other person was. But after I saw Nikki's review, I was like, okay, I need to read this book because I just keep hearing good things. And same thing, she gave a great review for Broken Rock by Deep Aria. It's basically a period piece because it takes place in like 1917. I wrote it down. And it's this guy goes to this lighthouse to write a story about the history of it or whatever. And then like some strange things start happening. I am at about 34% and I'm struggling. Someone said on Amazon that they said that it's a Lovecraftian cosmic horror. After reading Ballad of Black Tom, I don't know if Lovecraftian stories are my thing or cosmic horror. I don't know. It just may not be my thing. So we'll see. I'm not saying I'm done. If I have time in June, I may try to squeeze it back in and read it. I have learned for spookier books, it helps me to read them out loud because, again, as I said, I practice my narration skills. So I give it a little creepy voice and everything. And usually that actually helps me more so than reading it in my head. So I may pick it back up in June and try reading it out loud to see if that helps. But as of right now, it's nothing against the writing. I just think it's just not for me. It's just not my kind of thing. So we'll see. That one is in the process, on hold. So anyway, that wraps up my May reading. As I said, it was just, could have been better. Like I said, I'm always happy to discover a new favorite. So it was all worth it for Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. But I was super disappointed by I'm Thinking of Ending Things because I just thought that was going to be one of my favorites. And I was just not happy with it at all. And I was also disappointed that Hush Little Baby didn't go well. So I actually meant to say that because of Hush Little Baby, I'm not really taking ARCs right now. I've put them on hold. I've had a couple authors reach out to me and I'm just like, I just don't know. Because I feel bad when they're looking for feedback and I'm not, I'm the DNF queen, as they say, or whatever you want to call it. And I don't like doing it. Like for established authors who've been out there for a while, that's another thing. But when somebody's new and they're looking for positive feedback, I know they'll take the criticism, but if I don't even finish your book, that's not helpful. So I'm really being picky about advanced reader copies that I take. I need to know from the synopsis, like, ooh, this is my kind of book. I took that one because, like I said, I was like, sure, why not? And I was excited to do one, but I really feel bad that I didn't finish it. So I'm not going to just be taking advanced reader copies all willy-nilly in the future. So as I said, that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. For all my new subscribers, thank you. I always appreciate when you leave me comments and let me know you're a new subscriber and where you came from, who sent you. Even if you just see me in the home page, whatever. If you see me on the side of somebody else's video, just let me know. It always helps me. And yeah, give me a thumbs up. Continue to let me know and YouTube know that you like my videos and you want to see more of me. And if you made it this far and you don't have a comment, you can just leave a black heart or whatever color heart you want to leave. I appreciate the love. And please let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you have a differing opinion, if you agree with me. It's all good. Share. I love to hear it. But that's it. So until my next video, snuggle up in your hideaway with a good book, unplug as much as possible, be kind to all kind, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.